on this organization, and it's terribly important.
Hidden legislation buried for the cost of billion-dollar backroom deals that profit from our loss. What good is tomorrow if born to die in waste? Is trust just an illusion? Is a promise a mistake? And as sure as the sun shines, as sure as the grass grows and the rivers flow, I'll be there beside you, pulsing through your veins. You'll feel my heart, you know. Time has come to recognize deceptions of the past, seek truth and stand together at last. Sure as the sun, sure as the trees, and the rivers flow free, I'll be there, I'll be there, you can count on me. I'll be with you when we stand together at last. As sure as the sun shines.
Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. We have a lot of new listeners tonight, and I'd just like to thank you for coming. And I forewarned, I didn't get done. I really got wrapped up in this, and I had a lot of information that was contradictory, or so it seemed, and I kind of got bogged up, and I'll tell you where I'm bogged up at when I get there, and we'll go just a little bit past that, but we're going to have to revisit this. It's definitely a lot of information to cipher here. I would like to thank Connie for being my conscience. I hope you will call in. The phone lines are going to be open. They're open now, but don't call yet. Look, I'd like, if you don't, somebody else call in. I'd like somebody call in and debunk chemtrails. I would like somebody that's got some knowledge and understanding. And Connie does. She worked at Boeing for 20 years, and she was a storm chaser. She studied meteorology. So I think she's pretty qualified, and I think you owe it to me for blowing up my event page, Connie. I think you better be listening. You better be talking, so come on. Becky's going to come on with me here in a little bit. And tonight's edition is called Charlie Kim's Trail Report. Takes a peek at Becky's chemtrail photos and Skywatch. Oh, I backed it up. Her diary and the Skywatch photos. So this is going to be interesting. We're gonna get off into some other stuff that I have no idea about, and that's some occurrences, some phenomena in the sky, and it seems like there's a lot of people seeing the same stuff over there in the Carolinas on the East Coast. So, also, I'd like to say hi. This is about 3 o'clock in the morning down there in South Africa. And so, hello in the archives. Georgia girl, she'll be listening later on. And this is a big shout out way down in the southern hemisphere where they got elephants and lions and things. Howdy, howdy. That was Phyllis Sinclair, by the way, that took us in. I really, really appreciate her. At last. I mean, that really is telling us something, ain't it? We can look back one day, I hope. I hope we're alive. We're in the fight, all of us. We're in it to win it. And that's why we're here. We're not here for fame or glory, any kind of compensation except for maybe a, hey, what's up, a high five and a pat on the back now and then and say, man, I'm with you, even if you ain't all the way. That's okay too. As long as we're all moving forward and we're finding what we can agree on, and not what we can disagree on, because we can all, every one of us, find something to disagree about. So my focus here is on the positive. What matters worldwide? Connecting voices, I'm sharing ideas, other people's opinions, and I hope that somebody that has another opinion other than mine will voice in. And if you have something that you'd like to share, I welcome you on here. Now, I'd like to give a super, super big shout out to Ian Jacklin, I Cure Cancer. He is coming. He's come to UCY. He's joined the family. I'm so proud. Any of y'all know me, know that I've been a staunch supporter of his and promoting him, and he is coming over. And thank y'all for listening, and so many other hosts that you will learn a lot from. If you don't learn nothing from me, I'll guarantee there's others that you can. We got some great folks. Special shout out to Mr. Jimmy Funk on last night, every Wednesday night, Boiler Room Radio. Boy, he's got his hands in the gears here and getting them cogs greased and turning, and there's so many of us here. Thanks to Jules. You have done a wonderful job, and I know I am, and I know all the rest of us are so proud to be a part of your team. So, well, I create an event every week for the show, and there's a lot of new people there, and some other people have shared the event, so we do have a lot of new people listening in, and I'd like to invite you again. I'd like to invite you to go to the homepage on UCY, look at the shows there. We have Dane Wigington on geoengineering on Saturdays also. Nick Barnaby, he's right now involved with the March Against the War on Syria. Now, I might not have said that in the exact right words, but anyways, he also did March Against Monsanto. We have a lot of really, really good people here. Lots of information. and anyways, so let me go on to what I did not get finished. And like I said, I got pretty deep into it. Let me take a swallow of this juice here. Did I say welcome? And thanks, Phyllis Sinclair. PhyllisSinclair.com, by the way. Name of the song is At Last. You can find her on YouTube and so many other places. Just check her out. For real. I really appreciate her. Just speak volumes. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read to you what I have written. Let's see how good a job I can do reading tonight. Without specifics on how certain reactions happen, I think it's clear airline exhaust does not appear or react as it always has. There is definitely a clear picture, a different picture painted in the sky above than what I remember. Among some observations, one can see start-stops in the trails, while others spread out, persisting to form clouds. At times, later the sky will be totally clouded, or even it will be just kind of a dark, a haze, a white haze over it. So I have to ask, what type of clouds are these, and at what heights do they form, and what is the altitude of the trails, and is this normal air traffic? Look up and ask yourself, isn't there a big difference from what you see today and from years ago? An international symposium held in Ghent, Belgium, May 28th to 30th in 2010, scientists asserted that manipulation of climate through modification of cirrus clouds is neither a hoax nor a conspiracy. It is fully operational and with a solid 60-year history. Find that at globalresearch.ca. Under a variety of names: atmospheric geoengineering, weather modification, solar radiation management, chemical buffering, cloud seeding, weather force multiplication, toxic aerosol spraying known as chemtrails, or to most contrails. What is a contrail and how does it form? There are three basic types of contrails: short and transient, long and persistent, and three, spreading. Contrails or chemtrails form in as cirrus clouds. All clouds are located in a layer of the atmosphere called the stratosphere. Cirrus clouds contain mainly ice crystals. The distinctive properties of cirrus and contrails derive from the physics of ice formation. Both processes depend strongly on temperature and relative humidity. I have cited those sources there, but I won't read them. The author of the video on the web site mentioned above says that persistent contrails cannot form unless the temperature is less than 40 degrees Celsius, the humidity is 60% or greater. This is basically true, but since modern jet aircraft cruise between 32 and 39,000 feet, the conditions for persistent contrails at those altitudes are less than minus 46 degrees Celsius and 60% or greater humidity. The conditions are mentioned in various documents produced by Air Force, NASA, NOAA, EPA, and FAA. When we see the pluming and persistent phenomenon, are these conditions met? The answer is no. And therefore, by definition of persistent contrails, they cannot exist. So what is it that we're seeing? As uncomfortable as this is going to make a portion of the activists, I'll refer to what we are seeing as chemtrails. That's from Florida Gulf Sky. Now, measurements were taken with the ambient temperatures and humidities required for contrail formation and persistence are determined from an in situ measurements during subatomic or subsonic aircraft contrail and cloud effect special study success experiment. That's from scholarsarchive.library. Many sites say chem contrails form at about 39,000 feet. That's what I've mostly got. The photogrammetrically determined altitude of the chem plane is estimated at 39,000 to 6,500 feet, or plus, and that equals 45,500 approximate from Carnicon.com. So, how do cirrus clouds form? It has long been a mystery exactly what causes the formation of cirrus clouds. The wispy billows of ice that can be seen high in the sky. But new research detailed in the May 9th, and I didn't get the year, sorry, issue of the journal Science finds that clouds condense and freeze or nucleate on a very specific mineral and metal particulates high in the atmosphere. That makes cirrus clouds unique. Most other clouds are formed primarily by condensing onto organic particles. Said study author Dan Sisko, an atmospheric chemist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. That's from livescience.com. Excuse me just a sec. Okay. The height at which the cloud forms depends on the amount of moisture and the thermal that forms the cloud. Humid air will generally result in a lower cloud base. In temperate areas, the base of the cumulus clouds is usually below 6,000 feet. That's 1,800 meters above ground level, and it can range up to 8,000 feet in altitude. In arid and mountainous areas, the cloud base can be in excess of 20,000 feet. That comes from Wikipedia. Classification identifies clouds by height of cloud base. For example, clouds names containing the prefix "cir," as in cirrus clouds, are located at high levels. High-level clouds form above 20,000 feet, 6,000 meters. That's from www.atmos.uiuc.edu. Like I said, I'm getting a lot of different numbers here, and there doesn't seem to be a consensus. So, like I said, this part right here is what really I got bogged down into. So it complicated me, and it complicated things for me. So I have a lot more to learn, and so that's what I hope that we can do here is work through this and determine what we have or do not have. Let me continue. The most familiar of the vertically developed clouds is the cumulus cloud, which can grow to heights of in excess of 39,000 feet. So if that's in excess, and most planes are flying about 39,000 feet. Excuse me just a minute. Okay, I've got a message from Jimmy. All right, take a drink, brother. Am I okay, Jimmy? Somebody sent me a message, but I can't get to that. All right, let me back up here. And I'll pass where I was at, I think. Okay, at 39,000 feet is where I was at. High in the clouds. I don't have my bow loaded, so I can't take a hit, Jimmy. I have got my drink of some of this bad stuff. Rip it good. All right, let me get back in here. 39,000 feet, and so this is a lot of conflict because where they say planes are flying. And I'm going to get to that. Okay, so I have the clouds and at what heights they form. So now I'm going to go look at the heights of air traffic. What is altitude of a plane in flight? Planes equipped with jet engines fly at greater altitudes than propeller-driven aircraft. These include commercial flights, cargo jets, and even private passenger jets. The air traffic controller tower usually assigns a cruising altitude of 39,000 feet, up to 39,000. But long flights are typically assigned to higher altitudes. Air traffic control may change an aircraft's altitude assignment as needed. Most general aviation planes use propellers and must cruise at lower altitudes. For example, a Cessna Skyhawk has a maximum operating altitude of 1,350 feet. That comes from traveltips.usa Today. By the apparent size, if an aircraft, and by the loudness as it passes over, one might determine approximate altitude of the plane. Quite often, non-typical flights appear to be passing back and forth in grid patterns in the cumulus, and I hope I've got this right, cumulus, because those are them lower ones. I think I've got this right. Clouds with a base height of about 3,000 as minimum or more, and I was supposed to add that. It actually they're actually between. I didn't add this in. Dadgummit. But it's 3,000 to 6,000 feet with usually a max of 8,000 feet. And then we get into the next level, which goes up to about 16,000 feet. Now this is good right here. There's a procedure, and I'm not going to read it out to you. It is a lot of letters and equals and pluses and all that stuff. But it comes from carnicon.com. And basically, by looking at the plane, you take pictures and there's measurements involved, and it's kind of like, I guess you can use the hypotenuse angle as like a relevance. If you want to measure a tree's height, you measure the shadow, take your broom handle, measure the shadow of the broom handle and how high it is, and you can use algebra. So basically this is some algebra, and you can determine at what height the plane is flying. Okay, carnicon.com. I'm coming up on 20 minutes, and I'll probably go just a little bit over, and I'm going to bring Becky in, and I'm not even going to get to where I didn't finish at today. So, like I said, this is a lot to it, and this is where I bogged down in all these numbers, and where and how contrails, chemtrails do or do not form. All right. One must conclude, therefore, that this is a vast array of observable occurrences in the skies above, that there is a vast array. And then ask, are contrails and chemtrails the same? All right, background. All right, I'm almost done then. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this little background in, and we're going to finish up with this. And then we're going to have to come back. But next week, we're going to talk about, we're going to swing back to the hemp and cannabis issue on hydroponics, and I hope to get Ian. I say Ian is a European pronunciation. Sorry, Ian. Get Ian to come in and talk about the hemp oil, the cannabis oil. So anyways, hey, Stephen Russell. welcome. If you want to call in, I see you like the call-in number. Here in just a few, we're going to open up lines. All right, background, and then I'm going to move out. Okay, military planners have been interested in condensation trail forecasts since World War II. Contrails can make any aircraft easy to locate by enemy forces, and no amount of modern stealth technology can hide an aircraft if it leaves a persistent contrail in its wake. In 1953, a scientist named Appleman published a chart that can be used to determine when a jet plane would or would not produce a contrail. For many years, the U.S. Air Force Global Weather Center used a similar chart to make contrail forecasts. You got to realize a lot of these sites that I'm citing are not chemtrail, geoengineering friendly, and if you'll further read in some of these sources, you'll see where they've tried to make excuses. And like I said, I've found all these credible locations to contradict one another. Excuse me. They have there's a lot of information to wade through. Connie, I wish you would give, because you got on the contrail issue. You have a lot of information. So, anyways, little bit left here. I'm not going to read the brief history of cloud seeding, or maybe I should. I'll skip past and just read some of that, and then we'll come back. I'll just touch on this, and then we're going to wrap up, and then we'll come back in probably a couple of weeks and come back to this issue. Cloud seeding is a U.S. military research project began as early as the 1830s, believe it or not, according to Colby College professor James R. Fleming. Verifiable successful rainmaking attempts did not occur until 1915 in San Diego by Charles Hatfield. He was a he was a rainmaker guy, and I guess he had some success. In 1946, noted atmospheric scientist Bernard Vonnegut is credited with discovering the potential of silver oxide for cloud seeding, causing snowfall. You know what? We'll come back to this. I'm going to back up because I think I left this. This is where I'm going to leave off with my last two comments where I did not finish. I think this will speak volumes. Okay, dense and persistent condensation trails, or contrails, were produced by daytime U.S. Army Air Force bombing raids flown from England to Europe during World War II. These raids occurred in years when civilian air travel was rare. Given a predominantly contrail-free background sky, in a period when there were more meteorological observations taken across England than at any time before or since. The aircraft involved in the raids entered formation of contrail forming altitudes generally over 16,000 feet. So, see, here you go. This 39,000 feet is not a set limit again, because from my observations, and I have the C-130s flying over, treetop level here, and then I also have the they haven't done it in a while, but that low level spraying where they're coming out a big old puff trail, just like smoke ring, puff, 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 and I've got to guess them to be anywhere between 8 and 16,000 feet. And like I was saying earlier, by the sound of the aircraft, you can tell they're louder and when they're passing and how big they look in the sky. Like I said, there's the measurements for it back there. I posted this to Vince Easley, everything I'm reading with all the links. Okay. So that comes from the online library.wiley.com. And I will finish now with: the government continues to lie to us about the existence of weather ownership via geoengineering, and surmising Congress is planning to legalize bills like Senate Bill 1807 and U.S. House Bill 3445, along with the Climate Security Act, also known as the Lieberman-Warner Bill, Bill number S2191. That comes from WakingTimes.com. So I'm going to stop there.